And then I thought, like, why would kids want to hear that kind of story? And it dawned on me that maybe you guys feel the same way about yourselves, right? Like, I remember writing my college essay and being like, oh, I have nothing good to write about. Nothing crazy's happened to me. Like, how am I going to stand out to a college when nothing insane has happened to me? Hi. But I feel like a lot of you might feel the same way. And so therefore, I kind of sat back and I thought, actually, wow, even though I feel like my life has been normal, quote unquote, no one's normal, right? I do have a story to tell. I do have a journey, and so do you. And all of you, it's important. It's important to own your story, tell your story, and realize that even though there's no craziness, highs or lows, that it's still important to tell. So I'm going to take you back to my middle school days. And I'm going to tell you about my first love, named Wally. It's not a boy. It's a restaurant. Has anyone been here? It's in Park Ridge. It's on Northwest Highway. Raise your hand high. Be proud. Wally's is awesome. You guys, I swear, you're going to come across this on Northwest Highway one day, and you're going to be like, oh my God, that's what Miss Barrett was talking about. This was my jam in middle school. I think my dad took us there when I was little, like when my mom was out of town. You know how when your mom goes out of town, sometimes your dad takes you to the junk food and good times. That's how I discovered it, and it's kind of hard to see, but in the middle of this building, it says, "We deliver." So back in like early 2000s, no one other than pizza places delivered. So like, I remember seeing this and being like, oh my God, Wally's delivers. It was huge. So when I was in 8th grade, like 7th and 8th grade, I would routinely order Wally's all the time. And those pictures of food, those aren't just random menu items, that was my order. I was an 8th grade girl, and I would order mozzarella sticks. Wait, first of all, I would dial Wally's, and I legit know their phone number to this day, 847-825-2214. I dare you to look that up, because that is legitimately their number. This was before cell phones were stored. You had to know the number. Oh, it's on there. I didn't cheat, I swear. Okay, but that is the number. Anyway, I would order mozzarella sticks, a hot dog, cheese fries, and a chocolate milkshake. That was legitimately my order. You're allowed to giggle at that. That's insane. I would also eat it all. Okay, you might be wondering, like, how does a middle school kid pay for Wally's? I literally would do this every weekend. How do I pay for that? I would like scrounge up change from my house. I would walk around, I would get like $1 bills, $5 bills, quarters, nickels, dimes, anything I could to get my Wally's. And the delivery man would come to the door, ring the doorbell, and I was really embarrassed that I ordered that much food, so then I would like call upstairs to my siblings who weren't home. I'd be like, Aaron, Pat, dinner's here, so that the delivery man wouldn't judge me, but really it was all for me. And then I would proceed to pay in dimes and nickels and quarters and get on the couch, sit back, and eat my dinner. And it was amazing, let me tell you, okay? But I was an 8th grade girl. I mean, that's pretty messed up, right? Like, that's a lot. And it definitely showed, okay? So, but anyway, Wally's days were great. I'm like now, I want to say like 14 years Wally's free though. I gave up Wally's. I was expecting an applause after that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Middle school was tough for me. I was considered overweight by the doctors and whatever, and so I remember that my mile time, and I don't mean to offend anyone here because the mile sucks and it's really hard sometimes, but I think I ran like a 14 or 15 minute mile trying, and you know, like that was the best I could do at that point. But I was really jealous of some of the other kids I went to middle school with. Middle school, turns out, can be tough for a lot of people, so I'm going to show you some pictures, okay? Most of those are me. So I know it doesn't look like me. Some of these are just some funny stories I want to tell. But those three in the middle, those are all me in middle school, so I definitely looked different. I was teased a little bit. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want it to be like a sad story for Miss Barrett. It's not like that. But I was definitely teased. I think the worst of it was, I laugh now, it's not nice, okay? But they switched K and B. Kelly Barrett became Belly Carrot. You can laugh. It's funny now, but like, that's rough. That's remember that. And it still kind of pisses me off, not gonna lie, but I went through some teasing, and I hated it, and I was confused, like, why me? Why me? Why did I get this body that's overweight, and Wally's is part of the reason why I got there, right? But I didn't really realize it at the time, but as you get older, you realize that a lot of people have these awkward stages. I want you guys to focus in on this picture right here. The short kid. That's my fiance's friend. You guys, they live, like, that guy's not on his knees. This was their 8th grade dance. They went together, these two. I'm not kidding, okay? This picture got on, you know the website Awkward Family Photos? That picture made it onto the website Awkward Family Photos. That's a legitimate picture. That's my fiance's like friends, Matt and Ashley. They went to an 8th grade dance together. So he showed me that picture. He's so embarrassed. He hated his height in high school or in middle school. It was like the worst thing. So even though I was struggling with my issues, other kids were struggling with theirs. Do you guys recognize the other picture of the lady with glasses? Can anyone guess who? It's his teacher. It's a math teacher. Can anyone guess who it is? Mrs. Denna. That's Mrs. Denna. Nice. Which is so funny. So this is her in like 5th grade. She looks like she's 15. Shannon, if you're in here, I love you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love you too.
But if you're not, whatever. I'm just kidding. I mean, my pictures are pretty rough too. I asked my fiance to give me a picture of his awkward stages. He looks completely normal. I'm like, screw you. You didn't have an awkward stage, and he thinks he did though. He felt really short all the time, and he felt misplaced too. So the thing is, you guys, is that you all might be still experiencing that. Maybe you guys are finally out of this quote-unquote awkward stage. I hate to call it that. I hate to be like, I'm looking at a bunch of awkward people right now. I'm not. You guys all look fine. But you're going to look back, and you're going to be like, oh my God, that's what I looked like in middle school. I've heard, Angie, you've made fun of yourself before in middle school. And it's funny. It's fun to look back and kind of laugh, okay? But the truth is, we all go through it. Middle school was not, those were not the days, and for some of us it trickles into high school, okay? But the good news is that you have the control, you have the ability to change your life if you want to, or change your look if you want to. All right, oh, by the way, my next slide is just to show you that all those people came out to look like, not like they did in their awkward stage. So there's this, it's kind of hard to see, the short guys in the hat, Mrs. Denna. Everyone, you get out of that stage, it's a part of life, and it's something to kind of look back at and remember fondly. So this is my pictures of me in high school. Just like a normal high school student. These are some of my favorite memories. But you might be thinking, like, how did I get from that girl in the last picture to this? And the answer is running. Finding running and also eating healthy. When I was in high school, I really, I figured out my body. And I realized that I can't have Wally's every Saturday. I can't have Bosco sticks in the cafeteria, even though they're bomb. Do you guys get Bosco sticks here? They're not a thing? Okay, they were like, basically I have an obsession with mozzarella sticks. It's like bread with cheese inside of it. Can't have Bosco sticks every day at the cafeteria. I couldn't do that. It didn't work for my body. I was unhealthy. And more importantly, I was unhappy, okay? I didn't like how I looked, so I started eating healthier. That picture of lean cuisine is like a terrible memory because I literally had lean cuisine, mac and cheese every single night starting my junior year of high school. That was my dinner. And now if I see it, it'll get me sick. I'm not recommending this. I think that those have a lot of sodium, so it turns out they're not the healthiest for you, but that was my regimen. But most importantly, I found running, okay? My mom forced me to join the track and field team at Maine South High School when I was a freshman. And at first I hated it. She wanted me just to kind of be part of a team. And honestly, I tried every sport in middle school and I was terrible at all of them. I was actually kind of on the verge of being good at stuff. For softball, I remember once I hit a triple, which was a big deal, but then I quit because the pants were too itchy. And I'm not kidding. That's seriously why I quit. I hated the pants. Do you guys get to wear shorts now for softball? No, those pants suck. Sorry, they do. They should make them comfortable. Anyway, basketball, I was like really good at boxing out, probably because of my size, but again, I wasn't that great. I wasn't that great at anything. So naturally, I joined a non-cut sport because they couldn't kick me off of it. And at first I didn't like it, my friends and I. Now, the track program at Maine South was massive, and they had a hard time keeping track of everyone, so a lot of days they'd be like, just go for a neighborhood run. I lived pretty close to my high school, so we would run to my house, and then we would hang out there for like 35 minutes, and then we'd run back to school. I know, and I coached track here for a while. I never told anyone that because I was scared of anyone finding out. It's not a good tactic. I don't recommend it. But freshman year, I didn't take it seriously. But then it was like sophomore or junior year that I started actually really liking it. Now, I wasn't good. And I think my whole life I equated to like, in order to like something, you have to be good at it. And it turns out that's really not true. I was on exhibition for every race, which meant I literally did not count for my team. I would just run a race. They're like, okay, line up, go ahead. And I hated that, and I would lose exhibition. I'd be junior losing an exhibition race, and I hated that. I hated losing. So I actually convinced my coach senior year, this is insane, I convinced him to let me be a part of the team but not compete, which is like laughable. All the coaches and PE staff at Maine South would make fun of, like, they heard about the girl who like is on the track but refuses to compete, and that he called me the manager, and 2 other girls followed me and joined me as well, and we all were managers together. It was actually awesome. We got to choose our workouts. We didn't have to compete. Years later, I'm engaged to my fiance Austin. His dad was a PE teacher at Maine South, and so when I started dating Austin, Mr. Scott goes, "Oh my God, you're the girl that was on track that didn't compete?" Yes, that was me. And he's like, "Why didn't you compete? We all made fun." Like, what? That's insane. I said, "I hate losing. I hate losing. I'm not good at running, but I love running." And so I just found a love for it. That even though I wasn't good, it was really good for me, and I didn't care that I was slow. Now this is kind of funny. I actually have no proof that I was on track for 4 years at Maine South. I really tried to find a picture, but literally no picture exists of me on track, other than probably in like a yearbook, but those were at my parents' house. I didn't have time to go there this weekend. I literally called this girl Sarah that I haven't talked to in like 5 years. Sometimes I see her at yoga. And I was like, "Hey, do you have any pictures of us from track?" She's like, "No, I try to forget those days." So, literally. But there's some Facebook posts I found from 2007. Sarah said to me, "So like 5 miles, 2 days in a row, even though I walked one of them, LOL, so proud of us." So there's some proof. And then I said to her, "I was forced to do the distance workout again today. We did a track workout. It was 12 300s. It felt really good, and I think I'm doing distance more and you're gonna do that with me. Love you, feel better." Do you guys ever look at your Facebook post from like 10 years, or like, I guess not 10 for you, but like even 2 years ago, and you're like, "Oh my God, why did I say that?" Okay, so I had one of those moments, and that's my proof that I was on track. Okay, I really don't have any pictures of it, so it's pretty concerning. But I was on track, and I found a love for running. So, are we good on time? Yeah, we're good on time. Thanks. Okay. I want to talk to you guys about an issue that you guys might encounter when you go to college, especially for the athletes here, okay? If you do not play a college sport, it's going to be pretty tough to transition from being very active in high school, practicing all of the time, having workouts, or even if you're not an athlete, being in PE every single day where you have physical activity, and then in college you go and you no longer have that. It's now up to you in order to get the physical exercise that you need in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And a lot of people struggle with that. Have you ever heard of the freshman 15? There might be some other contributing factors besides just not working out, but I'm not going to go into that. Honestly, guys, you are going from being active high schoolers on sports in PE class to college where, honestly, if you don't force yourself to work out, you don't have to. And that's really a hard transition for a lot of people. My friend Christine, it's kind of dark, but that first picture on the left, my friend Christine was on comms. At Maine South, we call them Hogettes. If there's any comms people in here. Do you guys hate the Hogettes? No. They're really good. They're good. So my friend Christine was a Hogette. Christine had a complete freak out freshman year. We went to U of I together in Champaign, and she freaked out. She's like, oh my God, I'm gaining weight. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to work out. She was used to dancing for hours every day. And then she went to college and she didn't have that anymore. So I said, and I had already trained myself to be running every day. I knew I sucked at it, but I still loved to do it. So I was already in the mind frame of like, I'm just gonna go for a run. So Christine was like, Kelly, I need help. You need to take me with you. I'm gonna go for runs with you. And I said, okay, why don't we sign up for a race? And we landed on a half marathon. Like, I don't know why. We were like, oh, let's just go run 13.1 miles. But that's what we decided to do. And it was cool because we had a goal. And it's something I recommend for you guys, even if it's not running, if that's not your thing, like make a goal. I talked to a lot of students that have graduated. Some of them joined like ultimate frisbee leagues, or they joined something so that they are getting that physical exercise. And they ended up loving it. Christine loved running after that. We trained together. And as you can see, that kind of started a love for me of like going to the races and doing 5Ks and half marathons. They're a lot of fun, okay? And again, I'm probably running like at this pace. Okay, that's supposed to be funny, whatever, you guys are a tough crowd. Like really, really slow, okay? But that's okay, they were fun. You get to finish, hopefully. And there's nothing like crossing a finish line. Reaching a goal that you set out for that tests your body, really. And then crossing that finish line. It's incredible. So, of course, naturally, after running a couple half marathons, what's the next step? Yeah, a marathon. So I ran the Chicago Marathon in 2014. And these are some pictures from that. I signed up for the marathon the day after I got dumped from a boyfriend. It was one of those things that was like, oh, screw you, I'm gonna run a marathon. I'm gonna run a marathon. I'm gonna prove to you that I exist. It's a stupid reason to want to run a marathon. But I did, and then there's a picture of me with my new boyfriend. By the time I ran the marathon, I met my future husband, actually. So, I know. July 20th, 2018, I'm getting married. Anyway, you guys. Guys, that marathon was the hardest thing I've ever done. It's 26.2 miles, straight running. I did walk. I promised myself I wasn't gonna walk, but like mile 20, I hit a wall. And I was like literally moving like this. I didn't want to walk, so like instead of walking, I went like this, which is walking with a bounce. But it like looks like you're running. So when I got to like mile 22, I thought of myself in 8th grade. That girl. And I finished the marathon for her. Because in 8th grade, if you told me, oh, you're gonna run a marathon in your lifetime, I would have laughed and gone and had a mozzarella stick. Okay? That girl didn't think that she could do anything physically, like sports, running, anything. That girl did not believe in herself. And so I finished that marathon for her because the truth is you can do anything. You guys, if I can run a marathon, so you all can too. Okay, I'm not saying you should go all and sign up tomorrow, but you can do whatever you put your mind to. And I know it's so corny, but it's true. You can train for anything, and you can teach yourself to do anything. All right? So what about now? So now, it's funny, your health evolves. It really changes over the years as you get older. I always joke I'm getting so old. I'm 28. But it is crazy how over time your body morphs. It changes. So what do I do now to maintain a healthy lifestyle? Well, there's a few things. You see some of those classes, Shred 415, Core Power Yoga, Soul Cycle. What up? I love those classes. I have found fun in working out. I have stopped thinking of working out as a chore, and I think of it as fun. I haven't done a lot of races recently because I broke my leg a couple years ago, so the distance has been hard. But I do this treadmill class, I do yoga, and then I do the cycling class, which I'm obsessed with, Soul Cycle. It's so fun. So I'm constantly changing my workouts, challenging my body to try something new, and it's really been working for me. I feel healthy, I feel happy, and I feel like I can do anything. I cook all the time now. I make my fiance clean up because I hate the cleaning, but I cook all the time, and I've really been trying some healthy meals. I love cooking salmon and chicken and everything, and just maintaining that healthy lifestyle for me has a lot to do with eating. Okay, so a couple other things. First, I'm marrying into a very active family, okay? They are very intense. So like, you know when you go on vacation? Yeah? Okay, growing up, my family, our vacations were beach. Sit on the beach. And that's it, okay? A great vacation, in my opinion. So then when I got invited to go on vacation with my fiance's family before we got engaged, they were like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great, relaxing. We're just gonna go on a couple hikes and go on some bike rides. And I'm like, wait, what? What kind of vacation is that? And I have a quick story. I love telling stories. So the bike picture, that's actually, I'm not even in that because I was so far behind them. I swear to God. My future brother-in-law, Austin's sister's fiance, he lived in Colorado for a time, and he says, oh, we're just gonna go for a casual bike ride. Leisurely was the word he used. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm thinking of a leisurely bike ride. This is my impression of a leisurely bike ride. La-di-da-di-da. Oh, like look at the mountains, this pace. I was going like this. Okay, they were speed racers. It was slightly uphill, and it was 36 miles. That is not leisurely. Okay, I don't care what you say. We got to our destination. I was like, Mark, we need to talk about the word leisure. Because that was not leisurely. I was crying. I was in last place the entire time. Last place. I did cry. I was in last place. And like, I know I'm not good at the sports, but I don't like losing. That's a common theme here. Okay? And I at least thought Mr. Scott would be in last place. He's 62. And I was behind him. And I was so far behind because it was slightly uphill. It was really hard. And he kept going up to Austin and saying, you need to drop back and check on Kelly. So the worst part, though, was at the end, there was one massive hill. And his family is waiting at the top of the hill for me as I'm just starting. And it's so big that in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to make it up this hill. I'm going to have to get off my bike and I'm going to have to walk. So I do. And then I see Austin walking down the hill towards me. And I just burst out crying. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the fat loser of your family. I thought it was your dad, but it's me. And when I got to the top, we're all like, are you done crying now? It was so embarrassing. So clearly I still struggle to this day, okay? Your health, it's ridiculous. Your health is always changing. I'm never going to be great at anything, but the next trip we went on, we hiked the Grand Canyon, and I trained for like 3 weeks for it, walking down an incline on the treadmill. I was like, that's it, I'm not going to be in last place this time. I think that they all let me be in first place, because otherwise I would have cried again. They were afraid of that. Okay. So, we're getting close to the end, but the last thing is kind of interesting, this gluten-free picture. This is a new one. Like I said, your health is always evolving. So, in being a healthy person, okay, you always have to listen to your body. And when things don't feel right, you need to get it checked out. So for a couple of years, I let this go on for like 2 years. Every time I ate, I had a stomach ache. And I always thought it was anxiety. I'm like, oh, it's just anxiety. Because you do get stomach aches from anxiety. But it turns out that it was getting worse and worse, and I'm like, I'm going to go to the doctor. And I was just diagnosed with celiac disease, which means that when I eat gluten, it's attacking my small intestines. And so I was actually having a reaction to that. Now, being told you can never eat gluten again, I had to grieve. That's pizza. That's anything with bread. I'm going to Italy on my honeymoon, are you kidding me? Yeah, it's rough, but guess what? It can always be worse, okay? And I was thinking to myself, like, why me? Why my body? This body who's given me issues my whole life. Why? That's not fair, okay? But the truth is that that's just the way I am, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about self-awareness versus self-acceptance. So right here, self-awareness, I said this is just my own definition. In terms of your health, self-awareness is knowing and understanding your body, how it works, what's good for it, and what's not good for it. Okay, it's knowing and understanding what you need to do in order to live a healthy lifestyle for yourself. I think I achieved this in high school. I think that I started understanding my body in high school and knowing that I needed to run. I needed to work out if I wanted to look and feel a certain way. I needed to eat healthy if I wanted to look and feel a certain way. The way that makes me happy inside. Not for anyone else, but for myself. But it took me years for this part. And this is the key, self-acceptance. Being okay with it. Being okay with that. Being okay with the fact that I need to eat healthier than maybe some of my friends in order to maintain. I need to give up gluten. I have to stop saying, why me? And I need to change the narrative to, this is me. This is how I am. This is who I am. And I accept it. And I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? You feel me? Okay? It's huge. It's a big part of life. Thank you. It's a big part of life is that self-acceptance. Okay? All of us hopefully are getting to the point in high school of being self-aware, understanding yourself. But I literally don't think I was in the self-acceptance stage. I don't think I bridged that gap until like a year and a half ago. I finally had an aha moment of like, oh my God, I just have to be okay with it. I felt sorry for myself for so many years that I felt like I had to be on a diet. But you know what? When I stopped feeling sorry for myself, I stopped being on a diet. I just naturally was eating healthier and making better decisions for myself. One of those decisions I decided to start to make applies to you guys, okay? You know, on Instagram, I was going to say Facebook, but you guys don't do that anymore. So on Instagram, you know when you see a picture of yourself, and the first, at least for me, the first thing I do is like, oh my God, I have a double chin. Oh my God, is that a hint of a mustache? What is that? Okay? I judge myself and I pick out the bad things about myself. Do you guys do that? Does anyone do that? Okay, maybe I'm alone, but I have a feeling I'm not alone. So, I'm going to have us do something. We're going to take out our phones and we're all going to take a selfie of ourselves. You're going to do it right now. You can do it with your friends. I'll do it too. Take a selfie. Guys, when you take your selfie, before you pick out something negative about yourself, I want you to say something positive about the way you look in your head. Do not pick out anything negative. Pick out something positive. I want to hear you thinking. I want to hear you thinking. Positive thoughts. All right, guys, do me a favor. Raise your hand if you took a selfie. I want every single one of you to take a selfie. I want you to look at that selfie right now. Right now, look at that selfie. If you shared with a friend, I don't care. Now quiet down. I'm going to say something else. This is the closer. Are you ready? Look at your picture, guys. I want you to think something positive about yourself right now. In your head, quietly, it should be silent. Think of something positive about yourself and keep looking at your picture. Do not look up here, look at your picture. I want you guys to hear me. As you look at yourselves, as you look at your picture, hear these words. This is me. I am a good person. My body is mine. It's unlike anyone else's. I have the ability to change it. I have the ability to accomplish my goals with it. I have the ability to lead a healthy lifestyle. I have the ability to say no to drugs, to vaping, we don't know the long-term effects yet, to binge drinking in college, to binge eating Wally's on a Saturday night. I have the ability to accept myself and live an authentic life. I have the ability to stop saying, why me? And to start saying, this is me. Thank you.